Hey everybody, I just want to let you know that I'm going to have a studio chat after this video. Hang around, okay? That's good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of AZBDR. We're departing a campsite not too far from Grand Canyon National Park. More or less are headed towards Cameron, where we hope to pick up a permit from the Navajo Nation to cross their lands, and then continue along to the end of the AZBDR, perhaps finishing it today, and maybe early tomorrow.
Is this the trail, or is this extra credit?
It's the marked trail.
Sweet Home, Alabama. Yeah, I bet that was a hot mess yesterday. Agreed. Yeah, this would have been precarious yesterday. Yeah, he's sucking you right for that ditch. Okay, we're doing a hard right-hand turn away from the rim.
It looks like if you went just a very short distance that direction, you get a nice view right there. Not interested?
We can do it, Mark. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Yes, you do see the canyon from here. It's off at about 1:30.
Beautiful.
Wow, what a view. Once we reached Highway 89, we headed to Cameron for gas, lunch, and the permit to cross the Navajo Nation.
These hills around here are crazy.
Isn't it cool?
Like painted hills.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, it's like the painted hills in Oregon. Doreen and I went there and camped near there. Similar hills. Utah as well. Bumpy up here around the corner. We shall see that. It's not too bad, really. It's bumpy.
So what do you guys think of this?
Turquoise milk. It doesn't suck.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, where you're standing is where the cantilever starts. What lens are you missing?
Mark and Roy, but keep an eye out for big dips.
We have exited the Navajo Nation and are headed to Navajo Bridge.
And that bridge on the right really is, yeah, it looks like it's high in the middle. It really feels that way when you walk across it.
We continued on 89A to House Rock Road. There we headed north, dividing up into several groups to search for a campsite.
Are you guys going back into between those two fence lines?
We're going on the other side of the road to that road that Mark commented on.
Okay, right straight in front of me, camping, 14-day limit. How's that water, Dan?
Ah!
Is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
It's
I put it way over there.
I think one highlight was all of the different overlanding rigs that passed us go on their way to Flagstaff for the expo, and how clean they were.
Right?
They were all
How
waxed up
legit
and
we
looking
looked.
pretty. Yeah, we had a rigs and coffee there in Oklahoma, and I went, and all the rigs were so pretty and everything else. I just kind of parked the Ranger back over in the
In
back
shame.
corner somewhere.
We got some good looks today when we stopped at that trading post and ate.
Oh.
I was driving through the parking lot, and there was a tour bus and people coming out. To
They
get
were all
back.
just stopping what
they
they
were
were
all
doing.
just like looking at the Jeep, like,
Yeah,
Maybe we should be doing that instead of riding around on a bus.
exactly.
yeah. A lady stopped and talked to me when I was sitting in the Jeep.
Couple
What
stopped
are we
and talked to
doing?
Mark and I. Yeah.
So how about the AZBDR overall? I was extremely impressed.
Very much so.
And I mentioned it last night. The thing that impressed me most was those saguaro cactus along that one initial stretch. I've been all over this state. I have never seen saguaro cactus so huge and well developed
And healthy
and
and
great and healthy.
huge,
Yeah,
They were
'cause
tree
a-
size.
A lot of saguaro cactus will have
giant holes and
yeah,
pieces
and then
like
the bottoms
they
are
were
all
rotted
eaten out and everything
Yeah.
else. These were healthy looking trees.
Yeah.
And those hillsides were covered with.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't like there
It's
was
a
one
forest.
tree in somebody's yard.
That was cool.
Yeah. That,
And some of them were flowering.
In the
it is the
daytime.
season.
Flowers everywhere. There wasn't like one section we did that didn't have flowers somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, other kinds of flowers, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the desert was always blooming wherever we were.
Yeah, it was so green. I mean, this was a great time. I think the hottest we got was into the 90s for just a split second in the south. And then a couple times yesterday and today we were in the 80s. Well, today mainly we're in the 80s. We had over a 50-degree temperature swing today. You know, we started in the 30s and ended in the 80s.
There were two places I was impressed by animal sounds. That first canyon that we camped in the
Uh-huh.
morning, the birds there were just,
Yeah.
that was just
That was crazy. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
At night and in the morning.
And then the second one was,
That night by the river, I thought the sounds were really
Oh,
good.
yeah,
The birds
yeah.
calling back and
With
forth.
the two big birds
Yeah, that was
calling back
awesome.
and forth.
I think there was more than two, but there
Yeah.
was some that were way far away that would
Yeah.
call and ours would return.
it was by the river, and,
Yep.
and
That was the day before yesterday.
it was just crazy, some
That
of
was
the
super
sounds we
cool.
were hearing. Yeah.
Super cool.
All right, final day. Just a squirt left on the Arizona BDR, no pun intended.
10
Yeah.
miles, right? Something
Yeah,
like that.
about 10 miles, and then we hit. What is that? What's that road up there that's paved? 89.
Is it 10 miles to 80? 89's not low.
No, it's not 10 miles to 89.
There's a little bit more on that.
We're doing White Pocket? Yeah, White Pocket.
Oh, you guys want to do White Pocket? Sure. I'm doing White Pocket, I guess.
See.
That sounds great. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
All right.
And then we're all parting ways.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 6 of AZBDR. We are departing our campsite here along House Rock Road in Vermillion Cliffs National Monument. We're going to go up to White Pocket, visit there a little while, and that'll pretty much finish up the AZBDR for us.
Looks like it's pumping water up. Yeah, roger that. Camp here? This is it, yep.
Where we all camped in Mark's White Pocket video.
Once at White Pocket, we hiked for about an hour. Certainly not enough time to truly appreciate the immensity of this area, which is often compared to the more well-known wave located only 6 miles away. However, while geologists can easily explain the formations of the wave, White Pocket leaves them puzzled. It is an amazing creation of wind, weather, and geological forces. Some say even a massive earthquake or perhaps a meteor strike caused the incredible contortions that surround the visitor.
That's amazing.
And here we are at the completion of the AZBDR. Entering Utah, leaving Arizona.
Thank you so much. It's a great time.
It's been weird, but awesome. Yeah. It's been weird, but awesome. Well, just that I left my Jeep.
Nice traveling with you, sir.
Very good to meet you,
Mike.
Thanks so much.
Bring it in like this first.
I think it takes me up to where they're going, 89, and then uphill.
Cheers, man. Yeah. Awesome travel, sir.
Well, I'm following the two of you out. So, likewise. Hey, Mark, how'd everything come out? Womp, 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 womp. Oh.
This is harder than stomping baby chicks, I ain't gonna lie.
You put that on YouTube and you'll have PETA after you, Mark.
By the way, I would never stomp a baby chick, ever.
I'll be sure to include that.
Yeah, put a disclaimer at the end. No baby chicks were harmed in the filming of this video.
I had the exact same thought at that exact moment, Adam. That's hilarious.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that series of videos as much as I had fun on the trip. It was a real pleasure, and met several new people, as well as to be able to travel with Adam and Dan once more. But I do have a few things I want to talk about, and I've got a list here, obviously. I'm going to try taking these glasses off, and if I can read this. I had surgery on my eyes, cataract surgery. And so now I can actually see anything more than a couple of feet from me just fine without glasses. Whereas all my life I've been nearsighted. And so I've got just some cheap reader glasses that I sometimes depend on. But I think I can pick this up. If you see me squinting, well, maybe I'll cut those parts out. Well, the first thing I'll talk about is rotopacks. You may recall, I believe before, that I had mentioned that I wasn't a big fan of the rotopacks. I'm still not a big fan of the rotopacks. But I did do a mod to the rotopacks where now I can use my siphon hose on them, and they fill more quickly with gas, a lot more quickly with gas than they were before. It took me about 10 minutes to fill 2 of them on a prior trip. This time it just took me a minute to fill, if even that, to fill each one, put about 4 gallons in each one. So that's a good deal. Also, a couple of years ago I replaced the 3 2.5 gallon aquatainers that I used in the Wrangler mostly, and because I hadn't had the Gladiator until then, and I replaced them with 2 4-gallon ones because one of them had started leaking, and I didn't like the way there's a breather hole on the top, and it's just got a little plug that just sticks in it, and that plug has a little tab on the other side of it that keeps it from breaking away until the strap that connects the 2 pieces together, and then you lose the plug, and then your water bounces as you're bouncing across the roads out of that little breather area. And I had been using a bolt. I just would screw it in there, and a stainless steel bolt. It worked. I decided to replace with the 4-gallon ones, so 2 4-gallon ones fit where 3 2.5 gallon ones. So I'm carrying an extra half gallon. The first thing I didn't like about it was picking up 4 gallons of water. I have back problems, and I prefer to not have to pick up any heavier weight than I need to. And then the other thing I had a problem with on this trip was one of them got a leak on the bottom. And it had occurred to me, even when I replaced the 3 with the 2, that now if I had a leak, I was going to lose more water. If it leaked from the bottom, which in this case is exactly what happened. It leaked from the bottom. It emptied out into the bed of the Gladiator. So instead of carrying 8 gallons of water like I thought I was for this trip, I was only carrying 4 gallons. If you're just carrying one container and you lose all your water from it because of a leak, you may have a problem. Which is why I think at least 2 containers and 3 containers, even better, in order to reduce the impact on your adventure if you were to lose your water because of a leak. Anyway, in this case, it did not become a problem because I had not used the water, and I was able to refill my water jug a couple of times at places we'd stop, and I just refill it there. All right, alu boxes. I like the alu boxes, but they have one big downside. The alu boxes are the aluminum boxes. They're expensive. I guess that's a downside too. But they are strong. The downside to them is, as you're driving over rough roads and all that stuff bounces inside there, it gets this black dust all over everything inside the container. And so I kept thinking, gosh, there's got to be a way to solve this. And so I did come up with a way. I took a contractor bag, a 3 mil contractor bag. There's also, I bought a box to replace it, and they're only 2 mil. And so I say, look for the 3 mil ones. I haven't tried the 2 mil one, but just get the 3 mil ones. Anyway, I I took it and I put it inside there, and it fits inside the alu box nicely. And then I cut it off because I don't need the full height of it. Cut it off so that when I close the alu box, I can fold the top of the bag over the contents. So although the outside of the bag is going to get that black dust over it, I don't have to deal as much with it because it's not going to be over everything that's inside. It's not going to be on my it's not going to be on my cooking utensils. It's not going to be on my food packaging. It's not going to be on everything, because when I'm done working with it otherwise, without this bag, my hands come out black from that aluminum dust, if you will. So this solves that problem. And so maybe you'll give that a try if you have alu boxes. Zargus, I believe, is another company, makes a very similar box. Videos. I had two of the Wranglers that I was following behind had LED tail lights, and boy, are they a problem for video. I hope you don't see any in the video because I was very careful. I would always they were able to turn those off at times when I needed to, but sometimes I think they must turn on automatically, because I got a lot of video with blinking tail lights, very, very distracting, and it's difficult to work with. From what I understand, there's supposed to be software that automatically corrects it. I looked at some of that stuff, and yeah, it's great. If this light here was an LED light and it was flashing, it would fix that, but it's not going to fix something that when you're rolling along behind it. Some of the vehicles, I had to look real carefully, and I'd wait until I might fill 3 or 4 minutes, and I'd wait until they were hidden behind the vehicle. They were in front of me, but there was another vehicle between us, and I'd wait until they were hidden by that vehicle, or I'd wait until they had turned at a right angle and you couldn't see their taillights very well anymore. So that's how I dealt with it this time. It shows up on the Canon R5. If I look at the Canon R5, I can see that flashing, so I know immediately that I've got it. But most of the shots I take are with GoPros in the windshield, and A, the image is real tiny, and B, it's generally while I'm driving, so I don't have time to be staring at this thing to see if it's got a flashing taillight on it. I just need to know those taillights are not on. Map images. I apologize for forgetting to put the map images after each video series, but you finally caught up with them here. I was reminded after Series 1, Jean, whom you may remember from Muley Point on my trip to Utah, the Canadian, he sent me a message. There was no map in that video for part 1. I was like, oh no. What I did was I took a prior teaser video and used that as my baseline, if you will, and then changed the things in there, but it didn't have the map image in it. It didn't have the correct closing credits. That was kind of fouled up. I did that because it's shorter on the timeline. You can see how long this thing is. It's shorter on the timeline, and so it's easier for me to eliminate stuff I don't want. There's far less in a teaser than there is in a 25-minute video. Not that it takes very long to eliminate that stuff. That's about 30 seconds worth of work. Broken antenna. You saw, I think it was day 2, where I broke an antenna when we were going through that brushy area. Yes, I have quite a bit of trail rash on my Gladiator. I'm proud of it. The guy who does the detailing of my Jeeps when I come back from a trip, he was like, oh, you really got some scratches on there now. Anyway, he already knows the rules. He's not allowed to use tire shine. He's not allowed to use wax on my Jeeps. So he's not worried about it. He understands that this is what I want. Anyway, broken antenna. It broke. It continued to work okay, even though at first I had the part hanging off at a right angle. You can barely see it in the video, and then after a few minutes, it gets knocked off completely. And so I did have a antenna I bought for VHF. And I thought I remembered it going up to 470 megahertz, which is up to above the GMRAS level. And sure enough, when I got home, I checked on the internet, and it says, yeah, it's good for 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and GMRAS frequencies. I put a antenna analyzer on it, and I got 1.0, which is, supposedly you can't get 1.0, but I got 1.0 to 1.5 was the SWR range that I was seeing. Where the GMRAS radio operates, so that's great. And by the way, if you're thinking CB, oh my goodness, you're supposed to have like 1.0 or 1.1, yeah. It's actually the difference between 1.0 and 1.5 is not that great. It's not as great as people assume when they build those CBs. I don't know why people get so freaked out on CB. Jerry cans. I had a jerry can leak on the Eclipse expedition, and I decided to go ahead and just replace both jerry cans, and I bought 2 new wavy-in cans. These are the bona fide manufacturer of the NATO cans, wavy-in, and so I strongly recommend them. They're just so much easier to use than Rotopacks, really. The lid stays attached to it. In my bumper, I can turn them so that you can't open the lid if somebody wanted to get in there and monkey with it, if they siphon the gas out or pour dirt in there or whatever. They're protected against that. You can't lose the lid. It's easy to siphon from. The nozzle works like a dream. The Rotopacks nozzle, I emptied the Rotopacks in there with the nozzle they provided first, just to get the last few drops out, and I spilled half that gas trying to get that thing to work right. It's absolutely horrible. Finally, permits, and there were 3 different permits, at least 2, and maybe 3. One would be the federal lands pass. That isn't necessarily required, but like if you're going to go into Grand Canyon, which there's an alternate route to go into Grand Canyon, maybe some of the other places you might stop at along the way would require a pass or a fee. You can avoid paying the fee by having the pass. And then there is the Navajo Nation Pass, which you have to stop at Cameron. They told us when we stopped there that you can do it online or you can do it with a phone call. So several different ways to do that. It cost us $15 a piece to just spend the day there traveling across on the roads. And finally, the State Trust Lands Pass, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Dan took care of that for all of us, and so that's just another one. The best place to get the information from this is for the Butler motorcycle map for the AZBDR route. For those of you who don't know, Butler is one of the companies, and Turatech's another one, that have come together to create these routes and publicize these routes and make the videos about these routes that you may have seen on YouTube. Not my videos, of course, but the official BDR videos. Butler puts out a map for each one of the BDRs. They give the GPX file for free, and you can find those online. But the map has a lot of information that regular maps do not. I do recommend that you consider carrying something like a gazetteer, because sometimes you get somewhere and the route is closed. We ran into this several times on the Colorado BDR where there were fire operations. We had to find a way around it. And so between a gazetteer, there's a couple of other competitors to the gazetteer. We had plenty of maps and we were able to look up alternate routes. We did not need that for the Arizona BDR this time. That everything was open. And that is pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and appreciate if you've got any comments, that you leave the comments. If you've got any questions, leave the questions down in the comment section. I love the engagement. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe out there. Explore your world.